Hey everyone, Max here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I would like to talk to you about flying helicopters and flight simulators. And today's example is Mi-8 in DCS. I made a video about 3 years ago, but it was in Russian, and about how difficult to find the proper flight controls for your helicopter sim. The reason for that, you would like to have not just a spring-loaded joystick, or maybe the joystick where you just remove your springs. You would like to have some adjustable dampers in there, just to emulate that the stick is not just in a vacuum. It is connected to the rods and bell cranks, which are connected to the hydraulic actuators or any other type of control. So this stick's supposed to be connected to something. You kind of have to feel this inertia or resistance when you move in the sticks or rudder pedals. And I was doing some suggestion. I was removing the springs completely from my VKB base and removing it from a Gladiator and adjusting dampers, but there is a limitation for this approach. When you're using this adjustable friction dampers, you always will have, even if those dampers are quite good in quality, you will get this bump or the high resistance when you're starting the move of the stick or rudder pedals, and it is not matching the idea when you fly in the helicopter of the precise little movements, small adjustments of the flight controls when you have to overcome this initial force bump when you initiate and just a move. It's just a simple physics. If you adjusting something and the friction of the resting body is always higher than the friction of the sliding body already, or rolling body, that is why it's this approach is kind of limited. And what if we not just want to use this control to simulate, let's say, UH1 with switched off force stream? And this approach I've normally used in Bell 206, flying Bell 206. Even there is an option to use the the force stream itself. It's not very convenient. It's kind of difficult to do small adjustment to control and overcome those oscillation of helicopter when you fight in springs. That is why normally in instrument conditions, or let's say in a cruise flight, you can use this force stream, but most of the time when you maneuver in the aircraft or during the hover or during the transition, you are not using the force stream at all. So that was kind of limitation of the spring-loaded joystick or the joystick without any springs. So that is why here I'm pretty happy with this setup of FF Beast. This is the forced back joysticks and forced back pedals. You can adjust everything in there. Let's say, let's have a look what do I have here in a force feedback FF Beast Commander, which is the software controlling the devices. I've got a profile selected, which is example no forces, just to show you around how I can move the control. You can see every single channel here, like aileron, elevator and rudder. I've just put it only one effect, which is the smart damper. I'm using the dampening, which I can adjust to get the proper feeling of the flight control, of inertial flight control. It's not resisting. I can freely move it, but you kind of feel some resistance when you move in it. And if you're trying to move it faster, more resistance you will feel. Basically, it's the same way you will feel when you fly, when you control in the real aircraft, because you have to fight inertia of all the items in the flight control systems. So you can adjust all those dampers, and already based on these settings you can go ahead and fly UH1 helicopter. It will be precisely, you will feel it like it should be felt. it wouldn't be wobbling, it will stay in the same position you wanted it to have it, so it's already good enough. But moreover, if we will go for if we would like to emulate the precise flight controls of Mi-8 helicopter, here is the profile for Mi-8 I've tuned previously. We do have a bunch of more effects here. I'm not going to be talking about the effects you can feel like that on the transition lift. You will feel this vibration coming through the pedals, which represent the airframe itself, and the joystick, which is kind of attached to airframe. So, and you as a pilot sitting in this helicopter vibrating all together with the airframe, you will, you know, produce this oscillation, and the pilot induced oscillation for the stick, and the stick will vibrate just a little as well. So you can all do this, you can do all of this in software here, just in all of those jolts and shakers independently, and to get a better feeling of the helicopter itself. Or any regime you're flying into. So let's say now we would like to simulate the forces we do have in a helicopter when every system is switched on and we've got a force stream effectively on. So basically there is no simple way you can just get rid of this force stream. So what does force stream means? Force stream means you are setting up the center position for your pedals and the flight stick, then you're releasing it, and this new center, when you're releasing it, this new center for pedals or the stick, it will be the center of the spring-loaded position of the springs. So, and this wobbling, even this wobbling around the center, it does have this purpose. I've got a video, I will attach it here. The buddy of mine who flies Mi-8, he sent me this video, and using this software, you can kind of simulate all those natural things you can find in Mi-8. Let's say this near center position fluctuation, oscillation, or just loose position of the center. It's done on purpose. You don't need to fight all the you don't need to fight those springs all the time if you're doing the minor adjustments through the flight control. And you can feel it like a small, just a spring-loaded center with this with a low resistance of the spring, a low charge spring, I would say, and then you've got this force bump you have to overcome when you start to fight against the main spring of the flight control. And all these things they are simulated here, even for the pedals. Let's say for the pedals we're using the spring, simple spring, which is does have the most strong, or like a breakthrough force, which equals to 2.1 kilos. It comes from the manuals. And maximum force, I don't know why I've set 12.6 kilos of force, of maximum force for the pedals. Should be around 13, but maybe I was evaluating it and eventually found out on these graphs that 12.6 is close enough to 30, and this point on the graph, it's exactly the 12.6. I can't remember right now, but basically you can emulate the same amount of force you will find in a real aircraft. So the elevator itself, we can see these these bumps I was talking previously. So you have a zero at the center, zero tension of the spring, then you've got a half a kilo of tension of the spring before this force bump, and this force bump, like a breakthrough force required, it's 1.3 kilos. So that is why that is why you're having this wobbling around center position, but it kind of helps you, but also it forces you to use this force release button. Otherwise you're gonna be sitting like with the small table joystick with light springs and overcoming all the time. No, it's not very efficient. Let's say why it's not efficient. You can do some, you can initiate some oscillation because you, let's say you want to start to put the nose down just a little, you overcoming this spring tension, then you pay attention to this finger. I'm pushing the button to release this force pressure, and even I'm trying my best to hold the stick in the same place, I won't be able to do that because in a 1 second I'm losing this tension, which is fights against my force application. That is why you just can't avoid this wobbling. That is why most of the time people are doing this releasing force stream and attaching it all the time for pedal for even small movement. But I think some of the pilots do, the buddy of mine who flies Mi-8, and probably if I would be flying such in a helicopter, I would do the same, using the force stream, establish the position for hovering, and then releasing the force stream. And after that, just doing the slight adjustments with the rapid, this firing this button. So, and you can see on the pitch control, we've got 7.5 kilos, which represent the real tension of the spring in this pitch channel. And there is an aileron channel. We do have the same bump I've talked before, and you can see we've got a 5.2 kilo of the spring tension for this channel in particular. Okay, and before we go flying, I'm using the VR for flying, so it's going to be a bit different for now from this position. But before we go flying, there is some things we need to set in special. We go to options, DCS, special, finding Mi-8. Where is it? It's here. And make sure you have unchecked this control helper, pedal streamer. So the pedal streamer we need to have when we're using the spring-loaded pedals. For this particular purpose, we're using FF Beast, and we've got this trim position all the time changing with the force trim release, so we don't need this specifically emulating. Specifically simulator emulate this thing for us for the center springs pedals. So and also the autopilot adjustment. Please deselect this one because it will cost you a lot of trouble when you're hovering. I will show you later why don't you need to check this box. And also this stick trimmer position, we're going to be using instant trim, which is default, just because we are using the FFB stick and we would like it to stay where the force trim button is released. Okay, I think this is it. Not just one small thing, because the simulator itself, it doesn't provide opportunity for us to tweak, tune this spring position in a proper way that we can do all this bump or loose around the center. So that is why we're getting rid of the standard FFB at all. We're just picking up some periodic effects, some vibration or whatever, and we are using the simple spring, and we're using this I don't know, the command hardware trim, and we are setting up the force release button right here in the hardware for each and every channel, roll, pitch and yaw. For this particular helicopter, you can see it's selected for the same button which I have got here, pitch, yaw and roll. And we are making sure that for the Mi-8 settings in DCS, for the control settings, Mi-8, I've selected the same button, trim button press, it's the same button. I don't know, it's called differently. It's joy button 15, but in the software it appears to be joy button 14. I don't know why, but it's the same button. Also, this is, I don't know where it is, but the trim reset button, it's a fictional one. There is no such thing like a reset. It's just made especially for the simulator, just because when you're playing around with your center loaded sprint joystick, you have to be, when you're completely lost in the where's your actual, like not an actual, like the 3D stick in a cockpit, in a sim, and whereas you know, and you want to align your joystick with this 3D stick in a cockpit, you just releasing any pressure, let it go of the joystick, it goes to the center, then you reset in the trim reset, and it basically aligns your physical joystick with the and logic joystick, which is in the simulator. So done with that, let's go flying. And now we're in the cockpit of the Mi-8, sitting here in the rack on the ramp, and we yeah, that's slightly windy today. It's just 3 meters per second coming from the north, and we parked against the wind. Not a problem. And you can see, I was talking about the autopilot. You can see it's already not in the center. What does it mean? So autopilot, it's not like autopilot. It's more or less SAS, stability augmented system. It tries to align you to the position. Let's say when the stripes are aligned, let me do it. Hold on a second, the collective accidentally moved. So when you try and I'm rotating this knob for the bank channel right now. When it's aligned, you know, gyroscope sees the position of the aircraft and tries to keep it there, and if there is a slight oscillation or inclination of the helicopter appears from this position, it will try to operate its kind of limited authority autopilot or SAS. It does have an authority of 18% of your control rod or the control actuator to move, and so it tries to use its authority to put the aircraft back in the position it was aligned. So currently, when we're sitting on a ramp, it was already not aligned. And this kind of gentleman, if you've got, if you set this autopilot adjustment by itself, it's gonna be turning those knobs for you, and it will make your life nightmare, because you, let's say, you are about to lift off, or you just stopped. You came to stop and start to hover, and now this kind of gentleman rotate those knobs, and this will affect your position, because this SAS interrupting your direct control to the actuator itself, because it does have this authority of 18%. So you just I brought the diagram of the flight control in here. So before the liftoff, we're still resting on the brake. Before the liftoff, we will try to find the position using the 4-string button to place the flight control in a position when the aircraft stays, even with the wind, and not rolling anywhere. So the parking brake is released now, and I'm adjusting. I do the slight adjusting, bringing up collectives, do the slight adjustment to rudder pedal and the stick, and you can see already my autopilot moved away, because it's all the helicopter itself moved a bit already. I will realign it, and when I'm align it, you can see the helicopter start to move, and even my controls didn't move. That is why I strongly suggest you to switch it off by default, and you can align this autopilot for the hovering position, and then it will be within the limits during the forward flight. We still have some, yeah, I'm trying to get to the into the air by lifting my helicopter off. yeah, that's the position. Yeah, I can release, not release, yeah, I released my 4-string button, and you can see that the autopilot helps me a bit to control the aircraft. I'm not over controlling or moving the controls itself very much. We do have some thermal activity also as the wind. That is why the helicopter still tries to drift up and down, because the the lift force changes with the gusts of wind. But anyway, it's the thing in reality is more even difficult to control the helicopter. But anyway, this SAS helps us a lot. Let's say I can get rid of the autopilot right now, this red button on a stick. If I will switch it off, so it's relatively easy when the autopilot or SAS works for you. So you can see my 4-string release button is released, and so it hovers by itself. That is why you guys like this helicopter much compared to UH-1, but it's nothing different between them. If, let's say, I will go ahead and switch the autopilot off, you can see now I have to control helicopter. That's much more controls needed. So basically you are getting yourself in the UH-1 hue again. So you can see all this oscillation and the which you can find in any helicopter, just because you've got a main rotor rotating, all these forces oscillating, or just they got a periodic effects on the airframe. So, and you are still within, to keep the helicopter hovering, you're still within those limits of the loose stick I've mentioned before. So yeah, sorry about my, it's kind of difficult to speak English and also hovering the helicopter, but yeah, I'm trying my best. Let's go ahead and turn on autopilot again. So the SAS is autopilot or SAS now is turned again. You can see the green light here, and all the stripes are aligned. So basically it means that autopilot or SAS tries to help us out to keep this helicopter position right now. It could be drifting away just a little, but still it's kind of keeping the attitude of the helicopter. It doesn't have any GPS position hovering or pinpoint position by any other means, any other system. Let's go ahead to bring this aircraft to the forward flight. We will go through the transition right now. All this transition will bring some vibration on our flight controls, while you can see the airframe vibrating. Not right now, I can feel it through my legs. It's coming through the pedals and also through the stick. So right now we are flying, and because we've got some winds coming from the right, we just need to be fighting this wind angle or drift angle with the course. You can see the autopilot is still, those stripes, they're still more or less aligned even for the forward flight, and we are making around 180 kilometers per hour. So it's kind of fun. If you will align this autopilot with the hovering position, you still will be with the limits of the autopilot or SAS authority during the forward flight. Let's go ahead and turn around. 4-string button is pushed. It's to make your maneuvering easier. Going less on the speed and rotate the aircraft. Now we're going through the transition, slight vibrations again. And just because we are having winds from the left now, we just drift away from the runway. And yeah, now we're going to be bringing the aircraft for the stop, and all the time during active maneuvering right now I'm pushing this 4-string button, and That is why I'm getting rid of those springs, and I'm not fighting tension of those springs anymore. I'm just moving the flight controls. I do have some dampening on it, as I told you before, which is very nice to have. It's not like you can feel right now my flight controls are vibrating just because we actively were passing through this transition. And now we are bringing the aircraft to the complete stop over the ground to start our hovering. And once we are somewhere close to the hover position itself, I remember you that we now hovering with the wind slightly from the left. That is why you can see that the autopilot stripe of the bank is slightly off right now, because we are not hovering with the same angle we were hovering before. Before we were hovering with more right bank than we have in right now, because we are using just a little bit of, I would say, not a left bank, but a slight right bank, slightly less right bank for the contracting the wind coming from the left, and also because wind is coming from the tail of the helicopter as well. You can see the pitch channel stripe is not aligned anymore, is not perfectly aligned as it would be for the hovering the same heading we were hovering. I can demonstrate it to you. Let's say I will turn around the helicopter against the wind. I have to correct myself because we transitioning from one wind to another, so we have to operate our hub, main rotor hub, against the wind right now. So if I will bring the aircraft to hover against the wind, you can see all those stripes are aligned. So that is giving you idea what is why it is more important to have manual control over this autopilot or SAS, and and also to have a proper flight controls. So it's easy when you're using the proper flight controls with the same idea in mind, which like engineers were keeping in mind when they were constructing this helicopter, also keeping in mind the abilities of pilot. So, and that is why you can see it's not very difficult to be hovering on this helicopter, and we can do some missions on that. Let's reposition ourselves back to the ramp, and we'll wrap everything up. Okay, I hope this demonstration can give you idea how drastically the changing or using the proper flight controls could affect your flying in helicopter, or in specifically in DCS, which is known for the best on the date, I think, physics and aerodynamics of helicopter. So when you have in this best physics or aerodynamics, you have to have a best flight controls or the proper flight controls. It's like just trying to get into the sim racing. It's also, and it's kind of difficult, not easy, not cheap, because all of these proper devices like steering wheels and pedals, which represents the more or less represent the real devices in your car or in a racing car, they're kind of expensive, but they do give you the best of the best authority of your virtual vehicle. So basically it's the same with the flight controls. If you're using proper device for flying, like FF-Beast, in my case it's stick and rudder pedals, and you're using the proper flight devices or flight control devices, you kind of set up for the nice flying, and you can replicate the same way of flying the helicopter pilots do in reality. So let me bring this helicopter back to the ground. I will set my parking brake on, and get yeah, something like that. Thank you very much for flying with me today. I hope this demonstration helps you a little to understand how very important to have a proper flight controls to get a proper flying. Thank you very much. Bye. See you next time.